Okay, we're live. Yay! Yes, welcome people of the world. Hello to all of you. Tondagura. Let me make the words a bit bigger. Hello, welcome. Tondagura. Hello. Let me put this closer to me. Hello, Star. Welcome back to you. How have you been? I hope your Wednesday went well. Halfway through the week, yay! Hello, Choco Cupcake. Welcome back. Today we're doing another round of drills, and because you all did not finish every single grammar drill I prepared, so basically I prepared a few sets when I did the drills in the previous days, right? And then for grammar, I was left with a few sets. S&T, I was also left with a few sets. I may have prepared too much for it. So I want to use those sets to continue the revision with all of you. Sorry. So that means to say today we're combining both grammar and S&T. I need you to do it quickly because we may not have time for S&T. So grammar we do, and then also 105. No, also 05, not 105, sorry. Okay. Welcome back to all of you people of the world, strong people of the world. I call you strong because you survived the week so far, with all the challenges and with all the unexpected things that's happening around us. So, people, are you all ready to revise for grammar again? Finish the set that you haven't finished with me last time. And we proceed to do S&T as well, people. Sorry. Okay. Now, we shall start without further ado. Make the most of our time together. We only have an hour and a half. Okay? We shall. Full marks for everything joined. Hello, full marks for everything. Wow. Welcome to you. We like full marks for everything. Number 1, let's go. Susan is anxious blank speaking to a large audience because during the assembly. Okay, so you're looking for the right preposition to pair anxious with. Okay. There's only one correct answer, especially when you talk, if you want to refer to what's the main reason that she's really anxious about, right? So Choco Cupcake says number 2. How about Ozil and Star? Study Buddy 21. Hello, welcome to you. What do you think is the right term to use anxious blank here? Be very careful, especially when you're pairing a word with a preposition. A lot of the preposition sounds correct. I know the struggle. That's why we practice them. Hello, user Alyssa J. Alyssa, is this Alyssa or a different Alyssa? Okay, so you have 2, 2, and 4. Wow. It's actually not anxious of. Okay. Now, when you want to talk about, when you want to express your concern, you actually say anxious about. Okay. It's number 4. Yes, let me make that a bit louder. Okay, is it the loudest we can go now? Yeah, it's actually anxious about. So normally when you say, oh, I'm anxious about something, you use this to express concern. Okay, it's possible to say anxious for when you want to talk about someone. I'm anxious for you, like that. Okay, but generally speaking, if you want to express concern, you say anxious about. Okay, it's fine. We learn every day. Moving on to number 2. Let's go. The boys complained it was difficult to study in the library as there was so blank noise. Wow. Remember what I told you when you are dealing with quantifiers, people of the world? If you recall correctly, I talked about 2 steps when dealing with quantifiers. What were the 2 steps? Can you recall? Okay, you're all answering number 3, is it? To give everyone a bit more of time to give their own answers also. Now, step number 1 is to check the context, correct? Context as in, are we leaning towards a general big amount or a general small amount? To know that, you have to check the context. So the boys complained that it was, so context wise, they're having a hard time studying. Therefore, what amount of noise are we talking about here? Big amount or small amount? Context wise, what amount of noise are we talking about here? If they are having a hard time studying. People. First, we move on to context first, yeah? So if they cannot study well, you know what I'm saying, because of the noise must be high or low. It must be a huge amount, correct? So if we're looking at this contextually, okay, we're talking about a big amount, correct? Now, okay, we understand the context. What's the next thing? The next thing is to check the noun being modified, okay? So we know that we're looking for a big amount of noise, but at the same time, now we look at noise itself. Is it countable or uncountable, right? So noise is what, people? A lot and uncountable. Also 5, I have just joined. Hello, Maya Mac. I have just in. Welcome to you, Kyra, as well. Also 5, very good. You are giving me the 2 answers for the 2 steps that I'm telling you. Okay. First step, it's context, hard to study, so the noise must be a lot. Okay. Now look at the noun being modified. You look at the noun being modified. Noise is uncountable. So you see, from context, you can already cancel many and much, right? And then for number 2, noun being modified is uncountable. That means to say you're left with number 2, because little is the one you use for uncountable nouns. Okay, noun. So, no. With context, it's the other way around. Sorry, I'm going crazy today. The noise is high, so we cancel few and little, correct? And then you're left with much and many. Many is used for countable, and much is used for uncountable. Therefore, the answer is number 3. Good job. Okay, so follow the 2 steps. First, check the context, whether you need a huge amount of something or a small amount of something. From the context itself, you can already most likely perhaps cancel some given clues or given options. After the context, then look at the modified noun. Is it countable or uncountable? Then you can further trim down your options to the very, very correct answer. Okay, good job. People, let's move on to number 3. I have brought a gift to the party, asked Thomas when he realized that everyone else had brought a gift and he probably didn't. Yeah, that's why he asked. So, what do you think is the right word? Hello, Aspect. Aspect says number 4. Alyssa also 4. You all seem to be agreeing to each other. You say, should I? You're saying it has to be, should I have brought a gift to the party? Now, when Thomas arrived at the party and noticed that everyone was bringing gifts, he may have wondered, was bringing a gift an obligation? Or when you want to talk about correctness in the past, normally you actually use the word should. Very good. Well done. So you are right. Should you use this for when you talk about express a sense of express a sense of obligation, okay, or correctness in the past, okay? So that is why number 4 is the correct answer. People of the world, well done. Now, teacher, wouldn't it be correct to say, must I have brought? Must I have brought a gift to the party? Now, when you say must, right, normally it expresses very strong obligation, but it's normally for present or future. But not for when you look back in the past. Okay, for that you use should. Good job, people. Well done. Okay, number 4, let's move on. Let's go. If I blank more conscientious in my work, I would not have made the mistake twice. What kind of question is this? This is, hello, Sherlim. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining the live today. Now, everyone, this is a commonly tested question. What do you call this question type? Aspect already has given the answer. Number 3, are you sure? What kind of question type is this? Oh, wow, Choco Cupcake immediately understands that this is a question on conditionals, correct? And you are saying that we are using conditional type 3. Remember, type 3 is the one that sounds more like a regret. There's nothing you could do anymore. And what is the sentence I told you to memorize, to remember the pattern of how you write conditional type 3? Who can type the sentence for me, please? I told you to memorize 3 sentences that will show you the pattern of type 1, type 2, and type 3. What's type 3 at least? If what? I what? Ah, if very good. Ozil05, just put ed on your past, huh? Good job. If I had studied, if I had studied, I would have passed. Good. So then you see the pattern here, ladies and gentlemen. Had studied, would have plus past participle. Then if you notice, same here, would not have made. Of course it's a negative version, but it's still using would have, right? Would not have, would have, and then past participle. It's exactly the same here. Therefore, you follow the same pattern for the if statement, correct? That means to say you need had plus past participle, which is basically number 3, people of the world. Good job. That's number 3. Very good, Kara. Type 1 was if I can, I will. So if the if statement is present tense, the second statement is in future tense. The second one, if I could would represent if your if statement is in past tense, simple past tense. Your second statement would just have the word would, not would have, but just would. Okay. All right. Number 5. Wow, you're halfway through set number 1. Let's go quickly. Let's go. There is a 0 conditional 2, right? You are correct, Cupcake. I am talking about 1, 2, and 3 because they're the ones normally and commonly used now. But there is a 0 conditional when talking about facts. All right, number 5, let's go. Blank, it is perfectly normal to feel disappointed at losing the game. We must not be disheartened. Encourage the coach. Okay. Now, this one is very easy. The answer here is a word that has more than one use, definitely, so I don't want you to get confused. Yeah, aspect, Kara, Ozil, Star, Choco, you all agree to while. Very good. Now, what kind of while usage are we using here? So normally some students will go and say, oh, teacher, isn't while like when 2 things are happening at the same time? Of course, that's one use of while, but it's also another use for while here. If you see, while it's perfectly normal to feel disappointed, we must not get disheartened. Okay, it's number 1. Well done, people. Although also, correct. Although we can use, that's exactly why they didn't put although here. Yeah, so while, like although, can work as something that can talk about contrast. Yeah. At the same time, it can also be used for talking about 2 things happening at the same time. So Choco Cupcake, you are right. Okay. Now, number 6, people of the world. Wow, you're on fire today, people. Henry seldom drives blank. Jane asks Paul. People of the world. Question tag. Question tag. Positive, negative, negative, positive. There's an important keyword there that you must see to know if the statement is positive or negative. Give me the keyword. What is it? Hello, Stage 101. Welcome to Europe. Okay. What is the keyword that tells you whether the statement is positive or negative? Can you please tell me? Seldom is negative. Good job. Yes, seldom is negative. Therefore, this makes the entire phrase negative. Therefore, we need a positive version here. And then you see that this is an action verb. Now, remember, when you have action verbs, you're supposed to use do, does, or did. For this case, it's present tense, so we're not using did, okay? And since we're using negative, the positive version, it's singular. Therefore, the answer is number one, does he. Okay, well done, people. Good job. So be careful of the words seldom, never, rarely, hardly, barely. All that makes the entire phrase negative. Okay, number 7, let's go. Auntie Linda recalled how her mother would blank her every night when she was studying for her PSLE. So nice. What a nice mother. Auntie Linda would recall how her mother would what? Now, this is pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward given that there's a would here. When you have would, might, could, it's always followed by what form of the verb, ladies and gentlemen? Modal verbs, so very good. Followed by followed by base form. Good job. Well done. Base form, therefore, this is number 1. People of the world. Good job. Okay. So number 8, could my teacher blank his handphone behind? Sally wondered, okay, Sally is wondering, keep that in mind, when she saw the phone on the table. Could my teacher blank his handphone behind? Now, what do you think is the answer? Okay, I have number 1 from Stitch 101. Kara is number, okay, Kara 4, Ozo also 4. Okay, again, there's 2 things here, okay? Firstly, it has once again the word could. Correct? Now, number 2 is could should be followed by a perfect infinitive, okay? So that means to say, wait, no, 4. Okay, reconsider if you must, no worries, okay? Okay, now let's give it a try, huh? Now, if we say, could my teacher left his handphone behind? Cannot. So grammatically, it's wrong because could needs to be followed by the perfect infinitive, which is the right answer. I'll show you what the perfect infinitive is. Now, could my teacher leave his handphone behind? Okay, that's grammatically correct. If you use number 2, it's grammatically correct to say, could my teacher leave his handphone behind? However, if you use leave, could my teacher leave his handphone? You're suggesting a present or future action, okay? Not a past action. But here you already see that the phone is on the table. But could my teacher, talking about basically the ability of a teacher to leave something behind, which is not the point of the question, right? So number 2 cannot. It's a different, it changes the meaning of the dialogue, okay? Could my teacher had left? No, cannot, because again, it makes it grammatically wrong because we need a perfect infinitive here, have left, okay? It also indicates a possibility or speculation about an action that may have occurred. So it is number 4. Okay, now this is one thing I tell my students, especially for grammar. Do keep in mind, sometimes they read the question all the way to the end. I do have quite a lot of students who don't read the question all the way to the end because for them, like, teacher, I already have the blank. I know where the blank is. What's the other sentence for? I need you to read all the way to the end of the question because normally they give more context, normally they give more clues. That's why sometimes they give you more than one sentence in one question. Read all the way to the end, okay? Number 9, let's go. We blank our scripts that morning and were puzzled to see an empty folder. Okay, now, this is a very basic tense, that I always tell you. How many actions are there in the sentence? Okay, you were puzzled, right? There's 2 past actions being talked about here. That means to say you did this, and then this one happened. Puzzle to see. When you are talking about two past actions that happened one after the other, but both of them are in the past. So let's say, this is you. Always, this one is so easy as long as you, let's say this is the present. And then you talk about two past actions, Hold on. Two past actions. So this is action 1. And this is action 2. When you talk about two past actions that already happened in the past, one after the other, you're basically talking about past perfect tense, okay? Past perfect, that means to say this is had plus past participle. And then action 2 will have the simple past tense. Correct, people? So that means to say your action 1 should be number what? Number? Reconsider, ladies and gentlemen. Reconsider. Number 2. Okay? It's the same way, remember, for your BFFs. Remember your BFFs had no sooner had. No sooner had he left the house than the rain poured. Okay? No sooner had plus than plus what's the other BFF that works the same way? I forgot it again. I told you the other day, right, that I forgot one BFF. Again, I have forgotten it. No sooner and then the partner is when. The partner is when. Which BFF was it? The partner is when. Who can tell me? You have to tell me. You were around when I talked about this. No sooner had plus than. What was the other one? Hardly had. Hardly had, Kara. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like to mention these two BFFs because these two BFFs exactly bears the past perfect tense. Action 1 here, and then action 2 here. Action 1 will always have had, right? And then action 2 will always be simple past tense. Okay, people? So pay attention. The moment you see that the sentence bears two past actions, first one that happened should always be past perfect. The second past action should always be in simple past tense. Okay? Thank you, Kara. Wow, last number for set number 1. Good job. Now, Mrs. Teo started waving excitedly the moment she spotted her son blank the gate. A very common what? A very common what type is this? Somebody mentioned this earlier. Somebody mentioned this earlier. Let's go. This is, she spotted her son. Very good. It's a very common V and V rule. But do keep in mind, this one is using a perception kind of verb. It means to say, you know, when you see, when you feel, when you hear something. And normally for perception verbs, you either use base form or present participle, which is ing. So you need to check whether it's an ongoing action, because if it is, you need the ing instead of the base form. For this case, she started waving, correct? So we need an ongoing action. Therefore, it's number 4 and not number 1. Okay? So be careful with V and V because it's not base form all the time. Most of the time, they will look for base form. But sometimes they go one level higher and give you both the base form and the present participle. I need you to be thinking, is this an ongoing action? If it is, use the ing one. Hello! Okay, capybara, yes. Okay, good job, ladies and gentlemen. Why is the answer not 1? Okay, Kara, that was just I was talking about just now. How do we know when to use base form? Yes. That's why I'm telling you, that's the moment I need you to see whether the action intended, implied in the sentence is ongoing or not. For this case, Mrs. Teo started waving excitedly the moment she spotted her son. So this whole line here, it's an ongoing action. It implies that something the son was approaching while she was also doing the ongoing action. So for this case, it has to be approaching and not approach. And also, this is a perception verb. It's incorrect to say she spotted her son approach the gate. You know what I'm saying? Yep, yep, yep. That's Mochi and Mocha. Hello, cute, cute 1137. Hey, Jaden. Hello, Jaden. Welcome. So normally, because normally, right, when you use perception verbs, when you see something, when you hear something, you talk about it while it's happening. Yeah? Not all the time, but I need you to, they will most likely give you a clue if the action is ongoing or not to avoid confusion. So two things will happen here. It's either they will give you a clue if the action is ongoing. Otherwise, if it's unclear, they will most likely not give you both options to make sure that there is no causes of confusion. Yeah? Okay, good job, people. Now let's move on to the next set, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? Now let's see. Are you ready to do this? Next set. Very strong people. Now, I can't help blank feel sorry for Xiaomin. She lost the contest to that girl despite all her hard work. It's a very common phrase, okay? I can't help. It's a very common phrase that means to say you're unable to stop yourself from doing something, which is, Jaden says too, Ozil agrees, Maya Mac also agrees, and Star. So Michelle also, so you all agree, you all are familiar of the phrase, very good. It's number 2. I can't help but. So when you can't help but blank, that means to say you cannot stop yourself from doing it. Number 2, very good, people. Very good. Now, number 2, Juliana can be the captain. She's set a good example for the team members over the years, blank. A very common question tag again. Question tag. Now, remember, when you see contractions in your question tag, my first request is please break it up into its complete form. She's here is a short for what 2 words? Tell me. Very good, very good. Please make sure to break it up to its complete form just to make sure we are not misinterpreting it, because it can be she is, it can be she was, it could be she has, okay? So she has set a good example for the team members, which tells you that this is positive. We need the negative version of it for the tag. Therefore, we go for number 2. Good job, people. Okay, well done. Okay, now moving on to number 3. Oh, where's my precious ring? It was blank these jewelry pieces just yesterday. So you're basically talking about the positioning of the ring. So you have to really imagine it and use the right word. Okay. Now think about it carefully. Think about it carefully. Okay. You all think it's number 4, is it? I see. Anyone else who thinks it's another number? You're all in consensus, huh? Okay. Now, again, where's my ring? It was blank these jewelry pieces just yesterday. You're basically looking for a word that will mean to say that the ring is mixed up with the jewelry. It's mixed up with the other items. And the word for that is actually number 4. You are correct. It's among. Okay? That means to say when something is among, it's located, be careful, in the middle of or surrounded by a group of items, which is exactly the case here. Because what if you say it was in? If you say it's in, you're talking about the ring being inside something like an enclosed container, right? So inside something, like a box or any container, which is not the case here. Within is very similar to in, but typically implies the ring is inside the boundaries of something something larger and abstract. So like an area or a set of rules, okay? But around would then mean to say that it's outside or it's in the vicinity of something, not mixed with other items. The one that really talks about the ring being mixed up with the jewelry is among. Okay? Good job. I have seen that question 5 times already. Very good, Alyssa. Now, Kamal made his baby sister blank by playing a game of peekaboo. Alright, this one very easy, huh? What kind of question is this, people of the world? People of the world, what type of question is this? Let's go. Oh, Maya Mac, thank you for the gift. Okay, you all say it's number 1. What type of question is this? You see, huh? Made. Baby sister. So this one, very easily, base form. Base form, which is number 1. Good job. Verb, noun, verb. This one is not a verb of perception. The ones for perception are the ones where you see, hear, feel. Okay. This is the V and V rule still, however. A very basic one. So we go for the base form. Okay. Good job. Halfway through this set, let's go. There is blank truth in what she said. Don't believe her. Don't believe her. Ooh, that's so sad. Okay. Now, again, quantifiers, people, check first context. And then number 2, noun being modified. Okay. Contextually, it says here, don't believe her. Okay. If you don't believe her, if you're telling the person not to believe the person, that means to say the amount of truth is big or small. Okay, context first, huh? If you do not believe her, the amount of truth is very good, 005. Contextually, the amount of truth is low. So can we cancel already? Can we cancel much? Because much says it's high. Even some, still there's a level of truth there. We're left with these 2. Next step, noun being modified. Truth, is that countable or uncountable? This is uncountable. Therefore, we are left with number 2. Good job, people. Well done. Huh? First, context. Start canceling options. And then go to the noun being modified. Cancel more. All right. Good job. Let's go to number 6, ladies and gentlemen. Muthu visited wished he blank his mother's advice, but it was too late. Wished he what? Okay, when you're expressing a regret, okay, of something that did not happen in the past, we use a specific tense. Okay, we use a specific tense when you talk about something that you wish that happened in the past, but it actually did not. Because basically, there's 2 past actions again. Okay, the one that did not happen in the past and the realization that it should have happened, right? So, first action, very good. Cute, 1137, Jordan. First action, past perfect, that's number 3. Well done. Good job. So, action 1 is he wished. Okay, action 2, it was too late. Okay, realization that it was too late, which is basically the same now, past perfect. Okay. Well done, people. Number 7, Tom objected to blank on a camping trip as he did not like the outdoor activities. Okay. If you object to something, okay, I object to blank, I object to blank, you always follow it Bye. Very good. You got the word. You got the word, Kara. We are looking for a gerund. What's a gerund again? It's a verb in a noun form. But it's still ing, yeah? Okay. So he objected to going on a camping trip. Very good, Michelle. Very good, Star. Very good, Stitch and Jaden. Let's go. Now, number 8. The peacock was caught by the animal rescue officers and blank to the zoo. Okay. Just imagine this is in passive voice, people. This is in passive voice. So, also very easily, right? There's two actions here being done. First, look at the word was. Then it's followed by what? Past participle, right? Then you continue the same thing. The peacock was caught and it was also, we also need what? Past participle, right? This one's straightforward. Yeah, the peacock was caught, the peacock was taken, the peacock was stopped, the peacock was, so you can talk about it, but everything is talking about the peacock. And if you, it's was here, you have to follow was with a past participle. So that's number 3, was taken. See ya? Okay, good job, people, good job. And number 9. As the guard was blank the impression that the hall was empty, he locked it up, not realizing that someone was still in it. So sad, huh? Okay. Now, when someone believes or assumes something, and usually incorrectly, what's the phrase you use for it? It's a normal phrase. When someone, okay, believes or assumes something, okay, then usually mistakenly. You have to say very good, very good, very good. You are under the impression, okay? Yeah. What? She stole it. I was under the impression that she was already rich. So you were wrong, right? So you have an assumption, but you were incorrect. So you were under the impression of something that is not correct. Last number for this set. Oh wow, you're all very strong and very fast. You went through the set quickly, huh? The burglar, blank everyone in the family, had gone out, broke into the house through an open window. No, sorry. If you look at it, there is a double comma here. This is like an additional phrase that talks about the burglar, and it's a current action. Therefore, we are gonna use, it's a current action, we are gonna use what number? I see 4, Jaden 4, Kara 4. Where's Ozil's answer? Very good, Ozil and Star, thinking everyone in the family had gone out. Good job! Okay, very good. Stitch 101. Okay, now we are now in the next drill. Very good, people. Very good. Now let's go. Let's play hide and seek. Blank. My sister suggested. Again. Yes, very good, Jaden. 3 thought because you already had past tense. Potato, because you already had past tense. Think that the family gone out. Okay, potato, let's go back. Let's go back to that, huh? 1 second, huh? The burglar, okay, you think, okay, potato, you think it should be what number? Number 3, is it? I see, potato, you were trying to apply the past perfect rule. But here's the thing, right? You use past perfect tense for 2 past actions. That means both the actions were already done. Like past 1 and then past 2 and then the present is here. But in this case, The additional information in between is actually a current action. So the past perfect tense rule that I told you does not apply. Okay? So past perfect tense is used for two past actions, both of them done. And then both of them happen one after the other. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to this area here, which you all answered is number 1. Let's play a game of hide and seek. Okay. Now, okay, people, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. You all say it's number 1. It's a suggestion, so it's shall we. Okay, this is now the moment that the exceptions to the rule is being tested. Because it says, teacher, this is let us. I always tell you, when you see a contraction or when you see a shortcut, please break it down into the complete form first. Okay, let us play. Okay, should we say let us not? Right. But here's the thing, let's talk about the exceptions to the rule, because of course they like to test you with this. Okay, remember, when it's let's, it's suggesting something, normally we always use shall we. Okay, it's number 1. You know what's the other exception? If I say, am I going crazy? I am going crazy. Am I not? Do I say am I not? What's the one for this? Also an exception. What is, I'm telling you the other exception, so tell me, what should you pair when you're being tested with am I? Try to guess. You don't say am I not. Unfortunately, not for this case. Aren't I? Very good. Good job. Aren't I? I'm going crazy, aren't I? Like that. Okay. Okay. Number 2, people. Number 2. Li Shan does not eat seafood. Blank that. Okay. Blank that, she will eat just about anything. Okay. What we want to say in this sentence, what it wants to imply is that Li Shan eats anything except seafood, right? So how do you say that? How do you say that using a conjunction? Okay. You all think it's number 3, is it? Number 3. Okay. So what we want to imply here is that Li Shan eats anything except seafood. And to give the same meaning, we need the term, very good, other than that. That's number 3. Good job. Well done, people. Now, other than that is kind of like saying except for. Okay? Like saying except for or with the exception of. With the exception of. Okay. Now, in addition to cannot, because it's like saying as well as, right? Contrary to, it's opposite. We're not talking about opposites here. In spite of is like despite or notwithstanding. Okay, so we're talking about the exception, so other than that. All right, well done. Let's go. Now, Mohan seems blank a lot of weight since I last saw him. He looks fitter and healthier now. Wow, good for Mohan. Yeah, so now what tense are we exactly looking for here? Since I last saw him, that's one thing you should be looking at. Okay, that means to say we are talking about a tense that you use that is about a completed action in the past, but it still has a relevance in the present time. When something is done already, but it still is relevant in the present time, there is normally a tense that you use for it. Okay, which is number. Are you all saying number 4? Is it? I see. 4, 4, 4. Kara Michelle. Choco Cupcake. 5 more seconds. Anyone else who wants to give the answer? Let's go. Good job. It's number 4. What tense are we using here? Present perfect. That means, remember I told you present perfect is not the easiest tense because it has a lot of uses. But of course, take it one by one. You're basically talking about a completed action in the past that still has a relevance, has a present relevance. Okay, so that's past perfect. Yeah, that's number 4. Good job. Number 4, Mrs. Hua, is someone blank opinions I truly value. Whose opinion are we talking about? We're talking about ownership here. Ownership. And when you're talking about ownership, which words should you be using? That was quick of you to decide. How about the rest? How about the rest? What do you think? Good job. It's number 4 here. You're looking for the possessive. Who owns the opinion? Whose opinion? Mrs. Fua's opinion. Okay, possessive pronoun. That's why when you say, whose pencil is this? You're basically using the whose in number 4, right? Who's taking the cab? Oh, no, that one is different. That's who is taking the cab. That's not ownership. You're talking about an actual person. Or whose mouse is this? Like that. That one is correct. Okay. Now, oh, Amir Mountain. Hello, Amir Mountain. Welcome back to you. Number 5. Let's go, people. He must have blank luck as he has won the top prize in the annual lucky draw for the past 2 years. Now, the never-ending quantifiers, right? Okay, again, 2 steps, people. Context. Number 2, noun being modified. Again, what's the context, huh? He must have blank luck, won top prize for the 2 past years. Okay, if he won for the past 2 years, that means to say, what amount are we talking about? What amount? The amount is, if he has won this year and also last year, that means to say the amount of luck should be high, right? High, should be high. So cannot number 2. We don't want sufficient, we want high. Okay, cannot number 2, we can cancel already. Now we go to the second one, which is luck itself. Let's look at luck. It's uncountable. Okay, luck is uncountable, therefore we cancel many because many is for countable. A large number of is also for countable. We are left with the very correct answer. A great deal of is actually used for uncountable, which is basically luck here, number 3. Good job. Yes, very good. So contextually, and then check the noun being modified. All right, people? Now, moving on to number 6. Let's go. It was Mary and not Peter who ate the cupcakes all by blank, I said. Okay? Again, you see double commas here. Now, try to give me your answer first. I'm waiting. I'm giving you a clue already, people. I've given you a clue. Okay, now double commas there basically means that and not Peter is just what? I see. Thank you for breaking it down, Ozil. Is just additional info, extra info. Therefore, it's not the main subject. The main subject is Mary, so that's the one you should be referring to in your reflexive pronouns. Mary is a her, so it's number 1. Okay, good job. Let's go to number 7, people of the world. People of the world. Stage 101, huh? I told you additional info can, so I need to reconsider and use number 1 instead. Okay, Michelle, thank you for liking the live. Okay, now, people, number 7, let's go. I believe that reading different types of books blank me improve my vocabulary. Okay. This one is very much subject-verb agreement. It's testing you whether you know what's the actual subject in the sentence. What is the subject in the sentence, people? To know whether it's singular or plural. So you see how the examiner who created the question tried to trick some students, right? They will say, oh my God, it says books, maybe it's plural. But the thing is, the main subject here is an action, okay, which is reading. Reading is just one single action. Okay, let me make my... Reading is one single action. Therefore, we're looking for singular, which is number 2. Very good. All right, number 8. Let's go. The host congratulated the young singer blank his excellent performance. What preposition do you pair congratulated with? Especially when you want to talk about the very reason for the praises and the compliments, yeah? You congratulate someone. I have a mixture of 3 and 2, is it? Okay, the actual word you actually use to pair congratulate with is actually you congratulate them on something. Okay. I congratulated her on her win. I congratulated them on the recent victory that they had. Okay, so congratulate on, right? Now, number 9, let's go. I pointed at the window display behind the sales girl and asked her to get me blank pair of shoes. Okay, a very easy demonstrative pronoun. Okay, but be very careful. There is a bit of a pitfall here that students are not being very careful of, so they get the answer wrongly. I need to see your answers first. Tell me what your answer is. Number 2, is it? Number 2. Okay. First things first. You pointed at something. Okay? Pointed at something. So if you point at something, it must not be near. No, it might be a bit far from you. Correct? So we can already cancel this and these. So we're left with that and those, correct? Now be careful because you're talking about a pair of blue shoes. This is singular. You're talking about the pair, one pair. Therefore, you are left with the number 2. Well done. Good job. Moving on. Wow, number 10, people. Number 10. Let's go. The hotel guests are facing much inconveniences of all their luggage blank missing up to now. Okay, so 2 things. Subject verb agreements you should be looking out for plus tense. Okay, check these 2. Okay, check these 2 things before you decide on your answer, please. Let's go. Okay, now you all think it's number 3. First things first, let's look at subject-verb agreement. Okay, we are looking at luggage. Now, luggage is normally used as an uncountable noun. Okay. When it's normally seen as an uncountable noun, you use it as singular. Okay? Yeah. Number 2, up to now. That means to say something started in the past. Started in the past and is ongoing, okay, and continues. What is the tense you use for something that starts in the past and continues up to the present? Or otherwise, if it's done in the past, it still has relevance in the present time. That means to say you actually use present perfect. Okay, present perfect, has or have plus past participle, which is exactly number 3, has been. Well done, people. Very good. Oh, I pressed the wrong one. It should be a clapping sound. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Okay, now, good job. I think I can give you some S&T later, but I'll give you one more drill first, yeah? One more drill to go. Let's go. Then I give you a few S&Ts. If you are quick to do this drill, so I suggest you do this drill very quickly. Let's do a quick fire round of one more grammar drill. Now, let's go. You must be at the airport by 2 o'clock or you blank miss your flight. What is this, people? What is this? Okay, now we're talking about being certain about the future. Okay, if you're certain about a consequence, that's going to happen in the future, you normally use this word, which is number. Choco Cupcake and Stitch 101 have spoken. Kara also, 5 more seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Michelle, good job. Okay. You indicate, okay? Indicate future certainty. Okay, so she was very certain that, okay, by this time he should be arriving. Otherwise, he will be late. Okay, he will miss his flight. Okay, good job. Number 2, she's never on time for her appointments. Question tag, people of the world, and you have a very important keyword there. Type the answer plus the keyword that tells you whether this the phrase or the statement is positive or negative. Quickly, let's go. It's a quick fire round. Chun, chun, chun. Let's go quickly. Let's go quickly. Okay. Now, what is the keyword on top of your answer? Share the keyword with me. Let's go. Very good, Michelle. Do you all agree with Michelle's answer before I proceed? Choco. Okay, first things first, one more time. Okay, one more time. She's, whenever you see a contraction or a shortcut, please spell it all out in its full form. What is the full form? She has never on time, is it, Michelle? Think about it a bit more. You're very close. She has never on time for appointments, okay? Is it? People? She has never on time for her appointments? Yes, it's she is. That's why I tell you, when you see a contraction, the very first step is to do the full version of it because it's she is. Okay, so she is. However, you have the word never here. So it's basically saying she isn't. Okay, so this is negative. So we're looking for the positive, which is she. It's number 1. So what have you missed out here? Please make sure that you write the full form of whatever contraction they give you in the sentence. Okay, okay, good job. Now, moving on to number 3. Due to our busy schedule, neither Sally nor I blank the latest musical performance. This is easy. Let's go. Now, you have the BFFs here. BFFs, that means they are together a lot, all the time, neither and nor. And when you see the BFFs, what's the rule that you always have to remember, ladies and gentlemen? What's that thing that you should remember when you answer sentences that tests your subject-verb agreement and uses the BFFs neither nor? Okay, Michelle is saying number 3. Anyone else? Kara, proximity rule. Very good. When you see the BFFs and then you get confused, do I look at this or do I look at this? Always look at the one that's closest to the blank, which is I. So I what? I watches? No. I has watched, no. I have watched. There you have it. Number 3. Good job. All right, number 4, let's go. Had I blanked that it was her birthday today, I would have brought her a present. Okay, this one is so easy. Has, have, or had is always followed by what form of the verb? Okay, what? Followed by what form, people? You know this, you know this. It's PP. What does PP stand for? Crazy person here. Now, has, have, or had is always followed, very good, Kara, past participle form. The participle form of the verb, which basically is number 1. Had I known, right? No, it's not number 1. Number 1 is no. It's number 3. Had I known. Thank you, thank you. All right. Number 5, let's go, strong people of the world. Okay, number 5. Social media has blank influence on Kenneth as he's not allowed to use his mobile devices freely. Okay, a few easy things here. First things first, context again. Not allowed to use his phone. Basically, so what level of influence are we talking about here? Amount, please. Looking at the context, the amount of the influence must be, if he's not using his phone, then the influence of social media on him must be low, correct? Low influence. Okay, now the second step is to, of course, see the noun modified. The noun being modified here is basically influence, which is uncountable. So let's start canceling answers, people. If we're looking for a low level of influence, we cancel 4 and 3. Now, if we know that it's uncountable, we're left with number 2, which is little. Follow the process and then always remind yourself of the steps until it becomes second nature to you. Dealing with the question then will always give you the right answer. Okay, let's go. Very good. Last 5 questions. Let's go, everyone. Blank, her sister who passed her driving test at the first attempt. City had to retake hers 3 times before passing it. What? So we're doing kind of like a comparison here. Comparison for this and then this. Okay, so when you're doing a comparison, what is the what do you call this? What's the conjunction, people? What's the conjunction? You all think it's number 4, is it? You are. Oh my God.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Correct. It's in contrast to, remember, you use this for when you do comparison. You want to introduce a comparison. Apart from is like, want to talk about an exception, okay? Although is, remember, a contrast, sorry. And then despite is another contrast as well, okay? Very good. Now, number 7, let's go. The family of 4 blank thrilled when they were called to receive their lucky draw prize on stage. Be careful. A very simple subject-verb agreement, but something that I need you to be looking out for clues in the sentence, because there are very obvious clues given to you to know whether you're dealing with something singular or plural. Quickly, let's go. Okay, so I have a mixture of 3 and 4, I see. Now, Kara is 4. I see. Now, okay, Jaden, one quick thing here. You may have been looking of the family of 4, right, as a collective noun, correct? And you knew from the past, like, oh, teacher, collective noun, it's one family, so it's singular. However, do keep in mind, Jaden, sometimes collective nouns can be used in plural form, especially if they want to communicate that the members of the group is acting individually as opposed to acting as one. Okay, but normally they will give you a clue if they're using the collective noun in plural form. Your clue here is they, were, and there. Okay, that means to say they want to talk about the members of the group as people acting individually. So you will need the plural form here. Okay, which is number 4. Okay, of course you have thrilled here that tells you about the tense as well. This is past, so we go for number 4. Okay, so a lot of schools do this kind of trick, Jaden. So the moment you see a collective noun, make sure you read all the way to the end. Sometimes they will give you another sentence, for example, and then later they say they. When they say they, when they refer to the collective noun as they, their, that means to say they're referring to the plural usage of the collective noun. Okay? Now, number 8, let's go. The little boy objected to blank in an open sea as he was worried about the big waves. Okay. Now the little, people, you just answered the question about objected to what? In the previous set. So this is basically like a repeated question, just in a different sentence, but almost the same kind. Remember, Kara even dropped the word that we need here. When you object to something, the something should be in what form? Very good. Remember, Kara mentioned this earlier. Very good, people. Jaren, which is objected to swimming. Good job. Well done. Very proud of you. All right. Number 9. The prefect, not the perfect. The prefect closed the door blanker to have a private conversation with the principal. Okay. Okay, this one's pretty obvious. If you enter and you want to have a private conversation, you enter, so you're now in front of the door. The door should be what? It obviously should be behind you. Number 3. That one is an easy one. We are down to the last question for your grammar drill. Let's go. Number 10. Having helped her mother blank the vegetables, Sarah set the table for dinner. Okay. Having helped her mother. A very easy one. Okay. Now, V and V, but be mindful, there is the base form and there's the ing. Teacher, how to know again if it's base form or ing? Firstly, this is not a perception verb. Secondly, she's already setting the table, so this is not an ongoing action. Correct? Therefore, the answer is base form, right? So V and V, remember, Michelle, when you have the V and V pattern, you are choosing between base form and ing. For this case, it's no longer an ongoing action, so ing is not an option, okay? Therefore, the answer is obviously the base form, which is number 1. Strong people of the world. Very good. Well done. So, good job. I am going to jump to a few situational writing, a few synthesis and transformation questions, because I promised you. So let's go and give it a try, people. Let's give it a try. Where is it? Let's go. Now, the boy asked, okay, a very common direct speech to reported speech, ladies and gentlemen. Should be easy, Okay. Type in the I can ask you about the composition writing. Yes, Jaden, what is your question about compo writing? Type it in. Those of you who are trying to answer, type it in also. I shall wait and read your responses. My school teacher wants me to write about the little about little content but a lot of description, and I got 39. Mm-hmm. Okay. I suppose little content and a lot of description is coming from her. But I don't really like this style of writing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Should I write about the balanced content and vocabulary? Okay. Now, Jaden, I want to understand the context first, yeah? Um, tell me if I am interpreting what your teacher wants to say. Okay, I'm trying to understand what your teacher means when she says little content but more description. My understanding is your teacher may be requesting that you focus on um, very few focal scenes and then detail that scene out, as opposed to talk about so many things happening. Is that correct? Because that's my understanding. And of course, I've seen the way you write before. Yes. So, um, Jaden, I at least my take is you may not like it because you have many other things that you want to write, correct? And you feel like you are limited to your writing because she's telling you to do little content but more description, correct? Now, do keep in mind, Jaden, let's solve this problem. So the only reason perhaps that your teacher is telling you to limit the content and is because she wants you to focus on the most important scenes of your story that answers the composition question. She may be scared that you overwrite and you start writing about things that may not be answering the compo question anymore. Okay, that may be her worry. That's why she's telling you that. So your teacher's worry is really not about your vocabulary. His only worry is for you to write and make sure that what you're writing is still answering the compo question. Okay, so let's solve that problem, Jaden. Okay, let's say I want to heed my teacher's advice, but at the same time, I still want to write as much as I could. Now, Jaden, your big solution for this is to make sure that you plan your work. Your planning, is your composition is thoroughly planned such that, let's say, teacher, I decide to write 6 or 7 paragraphs, okay? Then this is the main action per paragraph, okay? After you plan, look at your planning. Check how many of the paragraphs actually tackles the compo question. If, say, you write 7 paragraphs, I would need at least 4 of it to be talking about the compo question. Okay? If it's about a competition, 4 of it should be about the competition and not anything else. That's what your teacher wants. She wants to limit you to make sure that you are talking about the compo question. So plan carefully, count and make sure before starting to write your composition, Jaden. Make sure to look at your planning and count how many paragraphs is tackling the composition. How many paragraphs can you mention the picture that you've chosen? From there, you should see, oh, I can write 6 QSPs and 5, 6 paragraphs. I can write 5 PPPs in about 3 or 4 paragraphs. You are good to go start writing. You are already following what your teachers, you're trying to move away. You're trying to avoid the worry of your teacher. And I need you to write as many as you could, but put it to the paragraphs that actually answers the compo question. Okay? Does that clarify? Because I know you love to write. The thing is, you're not writing a novel on the day of the examination, unfortunately. On the day of the examination, you are limited by time and they give you a topic to write about. Unfortunately for exams work this way. But not to worry, Jaden. The length of work is definitely longer in secondary school. Okay, so you will have a lot of room to write so many things that you want. But do keep in mind, Jaden, even in secondary school, but she only gives me at most 34 every time I almost write about the theme. I write mostly about the theme. The 34, then, okay, that goes to say, okay, that's good. But you do keep in mind, even in secondary school, the length of work is longer, but you're still given an essay topic, yeah? So about whatever you write should be all about it. Okay. Um, if she gives you 34, for example, then that would mean to say, I want to know what's is 34 content is higher or content is lower? Because 34 could be everything, all the 6 mark deduction is from your language and not from your content, correct? So I need to know. So always think about when you look at the marks given to you, understand the breakdown of content and language marks, right? Because it's language, if it's language marks, then it may be because of your 17, 17. That means to say it's not completely your content na, Jaden. She's also marking you down for language use. Ah, yeah, you huh? Yeah. So, good. Especially when you're always very close to full marks, it's very important that you communicate with your teacher. Sure, how come I got 1 mark deduction here? Or how come I got 3 marks deduction here? It's very important because I can tell you, I can try to make sense with your teacher's marks, but ultimately it's your teacher who gave you the mark. So you may need to really communicate with her and ask her why. But of course, that's how I try to interpret her comment for your work earlier lah, about the content one. Lah. She said she wants to teach me a lesson. Okay, people. Okay. Now, Cher, you have any tips for argumentative essay? Okay, I give you some tips. Kara also improve my situational writing. Okay, let's talk. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's not do SNT, huh? Let's talk about Kara, you're talking about primary situational writing or secondary situational writing? Okay, let's do one by one, huh? One by one, people. I moved up. I moved up and I saw a different life of an old guy. Okay. Argumentative essays. Okay, also listen carefully. Argumentative essays are normally the ones that students always find a hard time adjusting in secondary school because what you are used to writing in primary is the fictional ones, right? It's the narrative, the reflective, personal recount. So, first things first for argumentative is number one, make a very strong thesis statement. Okay. Normally, for your factual essays like discursive, argumentative, and what's the other one? Expository, you need a very strong thesis statement that summarizes all your points at the beginning, correct? So that is why here in Writers at Work, we actually teach a formula to our students on how they can write a strong thesis statement for argumentative essay, which is what we call while ka ay sasa. It just sounds very funny. It sounds very funny, but we teach them to while counter argument, I supportive argument, supportive argument. Okay, that means to say, let me share my screen again. A few things that I would like to share with you. Hold on. Let me find a blank page. So, argumentative, first thing is argumentative. Number one is learn a formula to write a strong thesis statement. Okay. Number two, plan with a proper structure. As in, for example, if I write 6 or 7 paragraphs, first paragraph should be what? Supporting argument. Okay, maybe I have 2 supporting arguments, and the next paragraph I'm gonna go for a counter argument that people usually say. Then after that, I'm gonna rebut it. The next paragraph should be my rebuttal. Okay, and then the last one should be my ending. Now, that's why the important part is plan it accordingly so you know what are your supporting arguments, what is your counter argument, what's your rebuttal. Those are the most important things. So plan it structure, and then we proceed to actually writing it, correct? The part about writing that needs a lot of a long-standing planning is because you need evidences. You need to grow, okay? You need to grow your evidence bank. So in secondary school, to those of you who are in primary school, it's more than just growing your vocabulary bank. It's also growing your evidence bank. You need to memorize some statistics. You need to memorize some um, truth and facts about a certain commonly tested topic. So, for example, you know that technology or environment are commonly tested essay topics. It's good to have a group of statistics related to it that you can always use. Okay? Yeah. Now, so keep in mind these three things. You can start with this. You have to start now. List out some because the beautiful thing about mastering, for example, argumentative essays on very specific topics that are commonly tested, the moment you've mastered how to talk about them on both sides, it's easy to convert them to expository. It's easy to convert them to discursive. Yeah. But you have to grow your evidence bank. Okay? Now, situational writing for primary to answer Kara's question. Okay, I always tell my students, Kara, that situational writing for me is a giveaway section. That means to say it's a section that you can easily perfect. Trust me, because it's not asking you, it's not like composition writing when you have to come up with some creative phrases, okay? You don't need to give me creative phrases. You don't need to elaborate something for me. I just need you to find the facts. Find the facts from the stimulus and then put them in proper and grammatically correct sentences in your letter or in your um, proposal and all these things. So for me, don't look at situations like, but you have to be smart enough to find the fact from the stimulus given to you. Okay. So the last thing I would say, aside from making sure that you follow a process, as in counter check the information, always highlight info versus the question page. Look at every bullet point, number them, go to the stimulus, highlight the counterpart information for each number. Make sure you have everything before you put them together into sentences. Okay. The next thing I want to discuss is S&T. Situational writing tests you on how good you are at putting together phrases and sentences. Okay, S&T. That's why a lot of the language errors are actually S&T errors. You commit run-on sentences because you keep using comma, 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 comma when it has to be full stop. Or the sentence never flow properly because you don't use any signposting, you don't use any conjunctions. Yeah? So be very safe if you are very prone to a lot of S&T errors. Be careful with your punctuation usage, especially with comma. And of course, two things, punctuation usage. And of course, your learn some very good conjunctions. Firstly, secondly, lastly, furthermore, additionally, finally. Okay. And finally, the important thing is, how do you do your paragraphing? How do you do your paragraphing in situational writing? I don't know how you do it, but I normally tell my students in primary school to do 3 paragraphs. Okay. Paragraph 1 is to, okay, what do you think is the paragraph 1 for? Paragraph 1 is, hey, I am Sally, so it's always about the introduction and the purpose. Okay. Paragraph 2, not even when I try, my teacher says it's wrong. The paragraph 2 is all the bullet points. And paragraph 3, which students always miss out when they do this, is action. Of course, it's the closing, plus also action you want the reader to take. That means to say, no, paragraph 3, you always go back to the purpose. If you are inviting them, what action do you want them to do? You want them to accept the invitation, right? So paragraph 1 and 3 connects such that you want them to take an action. You tell them to take an action after reading your letter, for example, right? Invitation becomes accept the invitation. Apology letter becomes accepting your apology, correct? You think about what you want them to do after reading your work, okay? Well, of course, being still polite, okay? Now, paragraph three is yes, conclusion, but at the same time, you connect back to the purpose. What do you want them to do after writing your um, after writing your after reading your letter? Okay, of course, formatting. Of course, formatting. Do your sign off properly. Yeah, whether you know you have to know whether you are doing formal or informal, so you use the right formatting for your sign off. OZL05, I used to score full marks for situational writing. Does it mean to say no more now? One quick tip for a lot of our primary students here. The leap from primary to secondary English is so huge, most especially for situational writing. Like you get shocked with the kind of um, situational writing required of you to do in secondary school. So, whatever practice you have, it's important that you continue it because the jump from primary to secondary is quite huge. And some students or parents just get shocked the moment the first weighted assessment happens or when the first major examination happens because it's a bit of it's a huge jump. The word count is higher. um, the level of vocabulary required is also higher. Media literacy is now a skill that you need to be very good at. Okay? Okay. Now, if you have a few more questions that you want me to address, please do remember that we have a night live upcoming next week. So you have more questions that I haven't addressed yet. Please, please, please feel free to. Hold on, maybe okay, I cannot show you my email. I wanted to open. I wanted to open this one. If you have more questions related to paper one and paper two for PSLE, I am consolidating a lot of our students' questions and even your questions so that teacher Jamie's and teacher Agnes can answer them during the live session next week, Tuesday night and Wednesday night, just for you, 2 nights before your PSLE paper one and two. And we have purposely placed it 7:30 to 9:30 so you are available. Yeah. So prepare your questions. Otherwise, if you want me to get those questions, comment on this post. We have posted this in our account. Please comment your questions. I am the one consolidating them. So teacher Jamie's and teacher Agnes, our curriculum directors, can address them during the live. Take this opportunity to benefit from the wisdom of these two ladies, right? And 2 hours. 2 hours not bad. You have time to ask your questions, yeah? Now, okay. People, it's already 7 o'clock. I shall see you again. I shall see you again no, not tomorrow. Friday. Friday. Okay, Friday. If situational writing formal, what can we use for signing off? Can we use regards? Formal, no, don't use regards for formal. Formal, use sincerely yours, or remember, if you know the name and if you don't know the name, well, you know that. Do you know the sign off for when you know the name of the receiver or when you don't know the name of the receiver, people? Yours faithfully and yours sincerely. Stick to those two. Okay. Yours faithfully and yours sincerely, or sincerely yours or faithfully yours. Okay. But remember, when you have two words in your sign off, you only capitalize the very first letter of the first word. Okay. And don't forget your comma. All right. People, I shall see you on Friday. If you have more questions, you can also ask me on Friday as well. Yeah. Let's talk about it. OZL05, what is the hardest essay type? OZL05, let's discuss more about that on Friday. I have so many things to say about that. So be present on Friday, okay? Now go get your dinner. I shall see you again on Friday. Bye. 5:30, Stitch 101. Bye. Okay.